What's going on, guys? Matty here from dclblogger.com. In this video, I'm going to be going through how to invest and get started investing in crypto art. I'm going to break down everything from A to Z, what the platforms are, what it means to create, buy art pieces, what popular artists look like, how to do research into this, how to kind of cover this from an investment perspective. In this video specifically, we're dealing with investment. Obviously, you can collect. There's different categories of people that are participating in the crypto art or NFT art movement. Some are collectors, some are artists. This specific video is for investors that want to increase their wealth by purchasing art on the blockchain. And we've seen some art sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Artists go from selling, 1 Ethereum pieces back in the day to now selling to 10 to 15 Ethereum per piece. So how do you pick up on these artists? How do you invest? How do you research? We're going to be going through it all. So we'll start by showing what crypto art is. So basically, crypto art traditionally has meant the artist movement, artists making art on the topic of cryptocurrency, whether that have been blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin back in the day, whatever it meant. There was a very big movement to kind of explain or portray what crypto can do to the world, right? That was called crypto art. And now crypto art or NFT art or NFTs is kind of like becoming synonymous with owning and participating in buying and selling NFT art. NFTs being non-fungible tokens that live on the blockchain that point to anything digital, in this case art, that you can own, buy and sell. The cool thing is that an artist can come and make digital art, release the token, and people can buy that token. So this specific one that we're looking at is a piece by Pac, very popular artist. Probably the highest grossing artist, or maybe one of the top 3, selling over $1 million worth of art, I believe. And this sold 10 days ago for 30 Ethereum, 20,000 USD. And most people will look at it and say like, oh wow, it's so simple. Doesn't really look like that much, right? But Pac is known for kind of his simplicity. If you follow him on Twitter, he's quite popular. So he kind of gets a lot of shares, and that's his thing, right? Simple, clean, kind of a very easy art style, and that's kind of what gets the shares. And over the last 6 months to 8 months to a year, he's kind of grown that being his brand, and he's grown a lot of collector demand. So it's a good example of how things have increased. So Super Rare is one of many platforms that sell art, and we're going to go through all of these platforms later on. So let's kind of quickly touch on the industry and some of the differences. But before we do that, I will be linking a blog post to this, and I urge everyone to go check it out. And most importantly, sign up to this. I'll be releasing a weekly crypto art report for whoever's in the subscription on the list. And every week I'll be breaking down, some artists, some important events, some up and coming artists, some breaking down some sales that have happened and all sorts of things. So sign up to that. I will be keeping in touch and everyone informed through that specifically. So trust me, get in on that. All right. So with that being said, let's kind of break down the industry, right? So the differences between traditional art and the digital art. So now traditional art has obviously existed for centuries. So first released here centuries, millenniums ago, people paying for art, whatever it was. And the concept was to own a physical piece, whether that have been a canvas, or whether that has been just a drawing or a drawing on a rock, whatever it is. Traditional art has meant a piece of history. Or a piece of the artist that can be kind of verified by the actual piece itself, or a certificate of authenticity, the artist's signature, and kind of tying back and proving that this original piece was from that specific artist. And in the traditional art market, that's kind of what gives art value. The difference between like a squiggle on the wall that's done by a famous artist, or a squiggle on the wall that's done the exact same way by me, is the fact that the famous artist is very popular. It may not be appealing to someone, but the fact that it's come from that artist is what gives it value. And if that artist has collector demand, a very big collector demand, then people will rush after that. So even though we see really good art out there, what gives art value seems to be the historical context, a lot to do with the art itself, obviously, but a lot more to do, in my opinion, to do with the artist, right? The artist could be famous, could have a very significant role in the industry, just basically has a lot of collector demand. So traditional artwork, that's what it's meant. A certificate of authenticity has verified that as being the ownership mechanism. In the digital art world, you own the digital piece, and that's kind of verified by an NFT, a non-fungible token, lives on Ethereum, lives on many other chains based on an NFT is basically a token that is unique, and that can be done on multiple chains, EOS, Ethereum, Hive, multiple chains that use NFTs for games, etc., for art. And basically you own the token. It's recognized that you own the original piece if that token has come from the artist. Transaction happens by shipping it to its new owner or gallery. In the digital world, the transaction happens via blockchain. It's very quick, immediate. Pretty much within 30 seconds or a minute, you get the piece, and you get the collector gets the piece or the NFT token, and the seller, the artist or the collector, previous collector, gets the money. And that's the beauty of blockchain, that it's just so accessible, really quick. Transactions are happening and globally, and I think that's what's accelerating the market, because it's just so easily accessible. Global market cap, it's estimated at $65 to $70 billion in traditional art in 2019-2020. Quick Google search finds that the traditional art market approximated at $64 billion. The digital art is $25 to $50 million worth of art has sold, okay, over the last two years or so. So you can put that into perspective. It's a very small percentage. It's like 0.06%, basically 1/1500th of the market. So it's like 1,600 times smaller than the traditional art market. Now, first released centuries and millenniums ago, digital art first released on Ethereum, which is where the dominant activity is happening. It was on 2018, but previous to that, we had Rare Pepes, we had Monograph, we had a couple of different things that were happening that were kind of alluding to owning digital art or digital unique pieces on the blockchain. Little experiments here and there, but the dominant part of this journey and money came in 2018 onwards. So that being said, there's multiple platforms that you can buy digital art on, and maybe we'll go through these platforms later. Let's kind of jump into how to kind of start researching and all that good stuff. So now that we're moving digital, there's some digital mechanics that come into play. One of them being data. Data is really important because you can now, since you can kind of track everything on blockchain, you can see now, like, all right, well, the artist sold his first piece in 2018 for X amount of money. This was the piece. It was sold to this collector. And then over time, you can see who bought it after, which new pieces were released, and the growth of the artist can all be tracked. And in the traditional art market, some of that history gets lost because not everything is registered. But on blockchain, everything is registered and public. And that's the beauty of it. It can all be tracked. Even bids on an auction can be tracked, and some people just bid just to be on the blockchain for a famous art piece. So that being said, if we were to go and do a little bit of research into an artist, there's a very good website that I made, me and a co-founder, cryptoartplus.com, and I kind of made it for myself because I was sick of kind of going to all these platforms and doing all this research individually. So it's basically a feed that pulls in all the recent sales that happens across multiple platforms. So Super Rare, Maker's Place, Known Origin, even OpenSea. We're adding more. We're going to be adding Nifty, Gateway. Obviously, Async Art is there, and a bunch. We're going to add different chains and all that sort of stuff. But currently, what you can do and how I use it to research is, say I see a sale here that piques my interest. Let's see. You kind of go down here. So we have the art name, so you can click on this, the image, the artist, initial sale value, recent sale value. So if it's a secondary sale, what you'll see is that the recent sale was 0.76, first sale was 0.75. You can click the plus and see when this happened. So obviously 2 months ago, 2 months difference, September, October, November, December, 3 months. And then you kind of do your research that way, but you can kind of see the owners, who's owning it. You can go and check them out on OpenSea and all that sort of stuff. So I know some artists, so I'm going to search Joy. I know the artist Joy has been making art for a very long time. And you can kind of, I've known about Joy for a while. You can go and check him out on Twitter. So the artist Joy. Jonathan. There you go. And he makes art in virtual reality. It's kind of cool, 3D, and he's done a really good. If you're following him on Twitter, you'll be following his journey. You know that he's kind of even been picked up by Adobe, featuring him in an article, and he's just done really, really well. So again, You see all that stuff on Twitter, but how do you kind of look at the data? And the really cool thing, like I said, you can go to Crypto Art Pulse and then search Joy, and you can see all the sales that are happening. So you can see that this month alone, so in the month of December, there's been 4 or 5 sales. The recent sale has been 10 ETH, meaning that these have been the sales that they're going for. So it seems like his art pieces are going for between 5 and 10 Ethereum, 5 or 11 Ethereum. Some going for 28 Ethereum based on what it is, maybe the story behind it, maybe it could be a commission piece. But if you scroll all the way down, and we kind of pull this all the way back to the start of Joy's career, we can kind of see that he was selling them for 0.5, 1.5, it was between 0 and 2 Ethereum a piece, right? Back in the day. So this was in December of 2019, pretty much a whole year ago. Exactly a year ago. And then as he continued to grow and more collectors joined in, you can see this collector category. There's multiple different addresses. Some of them, it's quite a lot. So you can go into a specific address that you see appearing too many times, and you can see how many of those pieces are owned by that collector. But you can see there's a healthy spread as you keep going up. And as collector demand increases, so does the demand for those art pieces. And so the demand, they fetch a higher price. So you can see now they're going for like 10, 20, 30, 15, 7, 9, 10. So if you bought it at 0.5 or 1 Ethereum, you would have gone in with an artist who's obviously increased and continued to grow his career and continued to make these one-on-one pieces. He sells on OpenSea, and that's how it works, right? You got to pick up artists that you think will do really well, will continue to grow their career and be really into focusing and really into art, growing their presence, growing their social profiles. And another really good example is Ferocious. So Ferocious is an artist that I picked up art from. Sometimes this doesn't work, so give it a refresh. Yeah, Ferocious is an artist that I picked up from very, very early, one of the first artists that I bought from, and I bought this piece, and this piece. So Overthinking again to I Flew Too Close to the Sun. So you can see I bought it for 6.5, 7.7 Ethereum. And then what ended up happening is Ferocious started to get picked up by some really big mainstream news. So you can see here when that sale was made. So when I ended up purchasing that,
Ferocious, and this is a painting I made.
Ferocious ended up making a video and sharing it on Twitter.
$3,200.
So those 3 pieces that I bought, one of them came with a physical. So it was actually 4 pieces that I bought for around 3,000 USD each. Then this tweet was made, it went kind of viral, and then after that, a couple of really big YouTubers picked this up, right? And started covering it. NFTs. So you can see Altcoin Daily covered the Ferocious's art videos. You can see also Nuggets News covered this in an interview. Pomp even came out, so we all know Anthony Pompliano, who has like one of the biggest crypto followings ever. Talks about Bitcoin, etc. And he tweeted this out. So you can see 430,000 followers, and he tweeted his thesis into crypto art being the next big thing, or digital art being the next big thing, and Ferocious being one of the artists that he's going to start commissioning art from. And so all this combined happened after I bought my pieces, and my investment theory was I like the art, I like the artist, I like the fact that Ferocious supports a lot of different artists. It's going for a decent amount already, so 4 to 5 Ethereum, and I could do some research on Super Rare, but now on Crypto Art Pulse it's kind of easy to see. If you scroll down, you can see 4.5, it's slowly increasing, and then I came in and bought it, and then that happened, and now suddenly these art pieces are going for between 25, 15, 35 Ethereum. And I think the most recent one on Nifty Gateway sold for like 25,000 USD. So it goes to show you that as the artist's publicity grows, as the collector demand grows, that when they make an art piece, people want to have it, own that NFT. And therefore, me as an early investor, my art pieces, I'm pretty sure I can sell these for at least 15 to 25 Ethereum. And therefore I've made money, right? I've made money on my investment as the artist grows. So buying art or NFTs, crypto art, whatever you want to call it, is really investing in the journey of an artist. So you want to pick someone who does really well, who appeals to a certain crowd, who shows promising sales, and then ideally that artist will continue to grow their career and therefore demand a fetch a higher price as they continue to make art. Now, there's different things that are happening. For example, these are all single editions. You can have multiple editions. So, for example, in Maker's Place, which is another platform where you can buy and sell art, you can have one of one editions where each is an individual, or you can have an art piece where you make 30 different of those art pieces, and they all, there's 30 mints. It's kind of like prints and original. So in the traditional artwork, you got prints, and prints have a set number, some prints, and they do a print run from the artist signs it. And so these are kind of print runs that have multiple editions. So sometimes Ferocious, and it's actually coming up where in Nifty Gateway, Ferocious is doing a drop, and it might be an open mint, meaning that that piece can be bought by as many people as they want. So it might sell like 100 different mints of it, but it's not as rare as a one-of-one edition. Okay, so let's kind of jump into platforms. So that's kind of going through like how the mentality behind art collecting and how it kind of goes up in value. But going through the platforms, there's multiple platforms. Like I said, Super Rare focuses on only one-of-one editions, meaning that everything here is unique. Everything here is a single edition and a single mint. It's a curated platform, meaning that you have to apply as an artist to get in. They check you, make sure you're not ripping off someone else's art, and they kind of curate and make sure and feel out for artists that they think collectors will kind of jump into, or they have their own methodologies that they haven't really said, but I'm assuming that's what it is. Nifty Gateway is a bit different. They do drops, so every if you go to Marketplace, you can see, so every week they'll do like 2 to 3 drops where they'll pick art, they'll kind of find artists, get them onto crypto art in the scene, get them to release a set amount of artists. So you can see Beeple was, his drop happened here, which went bonkers. It sold like $3.5 million worth, right? So you can see so this open edition where he sold 3 of these different types of art pieces. Each of them sold for $1,000 each, and $959 USD. It was an open mint for 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, 271 of these were bought, 207 of these were bought, etc. So this alone was like 500K or something, or 600K. And then now the cheapest one is 3,900 USD, right? I think 3,900 USD. Anyway, yeah. So those that bought it for 1,000, suddenly they made 3 to 4 times, or they've made at least a healthy 3x on their money. And some people sold, believe it or not, these pieces for over 6 figures, because the mint numbers also matter. So someone wanted like number 7, I think, and they bought number 7 for 114,000 USD. It was a complete outlier of a sale. It was a legitimate sale. I was in contact by the collector who did that sale, so I know it was a legit sale. But anyway, this is what Nifty Gateway do. They do drops, and they kind of hype it up. They have auctions and like these 5-minute kind of buy as much as you want as you can kind of mechanics. And they got Ferocious coming on soon, and a lot of really top artists have sold their art here. So Super Rare, Known Origin, there's Maker's Place, which do multiple mints. A lot of, again, top artists here as well. Again, you have to apply to get in. They do single editions and also multiple editions. So they don't do drops like Nifty Gateway. Well, actually, they do drops, not as hyped as Nifty Gateway, but they're another art platform, well respected. Known Origin, same kind of thing, very well respected. One of the OGs in the space, also do art drops. And it doesn't matter where you kind of buy from. It's the artist that matters. So the artist, the token that you buy, you can take that token out of any of these platforms, sell it back on OpenSea or Rarible, or take it to your Decentraland virtual reality, virtual gallery, and stick it on the wall. That NFT token can now be taken out and plugged into different websites that accept Web3. We have Maker's Place. Yeah, we went through that. Mintbase is, you can make stores. You can sell tickets, you can sell art, so people use Mintbase as well. Async art is a little bit different. They sell what's called layers, so you can buy, and one art piece as a whole is made of multiple layers. The master layer will display the art piece. It's programmable art in the sense of if you own a specific layer, you can change the final outlook of the piece based on you just deciding what you want the final piece to look like. So you can have this layer, the background layer, multiple different things, and then anything bigger than 10% will actually influence young Vitalik's expression. A huge bull run for Ethereum will result in a joyful smile, and the art actually changes based on different mechanics, and that can be built in because it's blockchain read, right? And that's the cool thing about async art. They're really pushing this. in that sense. And this specific art piece was made by A Lot of Money and Trevor Jones, which both are very exceptional artists, very well sought after, respected, and therefore like they sell a very unique art proposition. Now, Rarible is a little bit different. It's kind of an open market. Anyone can come here and sell whatever they want. They don't curate, but it's open to anyone. So it's kind of good and bad. It's good because people don't have to wait to get approved. So artists that want to start selling straight away can do so. It's bad in the sense that you can just rip someone's art and try to sell it yourself. And that happens a lot. And sometimes it sells, sometimes it doesn't. But they have problems that they're ironing out. Some people list all sorts of things here. Some not safe for work stuff as well, but it's kind of becoming a marketplace really. And they also have what's called a governance token. So they also reward people that buy and sell. So the more you buy, the more you sell, the more rarity token you kind of farm or generate. It's kind of, it's contributed to a bit of wash trading as well. So Rarible, it's a hit and a miss. You can find something really cool. You can find something, you can get scammed. So be careful, but it is definitely a legitimate platform if you kind of dig through the mud and find good artists. A lot of great artists are on here that aren't on all the other ones, and I believe I've gone through all of them. OpenSea as well is a marketplace that they don't just sell art, they sell basically everything, digital land, all sorts of things. But some artists like Josie, they use OpenSea to sell their art, right? Because it's kind of platform, it's neutral, and yeah, people sell art here as well. So again, it doesn't really matter where you buy it from as long as you're getting the NFT token from the artist. We're going through that, and I think actionable things. So you got the art platforms, and the way to really be plugged into all of this is to really follow people that talk about the art market. So I'm just tweeting about the art market all the time. Every time there's a sale, every time there's something to follow, every time there's a new drop, I'm always talking about it. Like I said, you can join my newsletter, and also join the platform. So Nifty Gateway, they have a Twitter account. Super has a Twitter account. Maker's Place has a Twitter account. I highly recommend doing all that. It takes time to kind of understand and grasp what's going on here. There's a lot of mayhem, a lot of craziness going on, and it really takes some time to absorb. You can't just skim the top and start investing. You have to really involve yourself with the community. And this is the difference between NFT investing and cryptocurrency investing, is that you have to really get in there and figure out all this stuff and absorb this information. It might take 1 week, it might take 2 weeks. This industry is, in my opinion, going to be here for a very long time. 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, centuries. Maybe this is the start of digital ownership. If it is, then we're very early, whether you invest now or 1 year down the track. So take your time to gather all this stuff and follow Twitter. Twitter is where all the action happens. All of these artists exist on Twitter. They share their art. You can follow the artists. You can follow their journeys. You can see what they're doing. When all that noise is happening around you, it'll give you some direction. So when you hear an artist, you like that art, you can check it out on Crypto Art Pulse to see how they sell. So again, like I did mention Josie, let me search Josie here again. And you can see Josie's art selling very, very well. Now these are multi-editions. You can see this is number 9 out of 21. So there's 21 different, there's 21 images of this that was sold. And if you kind of scroll all the way down, you can see that they were sold in July sometime for 1.5 Ethereum each. And if you scroll up, you can see they're being resold now for 3.85 Ethereum. The most recent one was 4 Ethereum. It's a multi-edition, right? It's multi-edition, and so it's not going to have as much value as a one-to-one, but obviously it'll still appreciate in value. So Josie is based on like how many mints there are. There's 70 mints of this, so it's going to be a little bit less, but it's still pretty big. 2 Ethereum is a pretty big price. You can see people making a very healthy secondary sale. The owner is also quite spread. It seems like G Money, this account, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 accounts going for these new sales. December, October, sales have been made, a very healthy December. So again, you can do your research this way analytically to see what's going on. And you can follow Josie on Twitter, see if you like the style and all that sort of stuff. We're also going to be releasing a Wikipedia for Crypto Art Pulse, so an artist wiki. We have about 200 people signed up, and that'll be out within the week. So that way you can not only figure out the data, you can figure out them, follow them on Twitter, you can read about the bio and their career, their education, all that sort of stuff will be out there. So you can make a very well-informed decision. At the end of the day, The art market, we're making bets on artists that we think are going to be great, going to keep focusing on their career and do really well. And if you get the early pieces, whether that be a physical or a digital, as the art, that's how it's kind of working in the traditional art market. As these have gone really big, like Banksy, you know, back in the day, you could have bought his pieces for $50 or $100. But now they're selling for six figures, millions of dollars, some of them. And that all started with him, you know, at some stage he was selling them for very cheap. So we can jump into someone's career, and who knows, 5-10 years from now, they could be quite well off. They're doing really, really well. So in my view, it's a great way to kind of explore what else is out there apart from just cryptocurrencies. And I hope this has given you some direction. Again, read the report. I'll put it in the link. Sign up and figure it all out. It'll take some time to understand, but hopefully the case studies that I showed kind of give you an indication on how to start doing research and how to figure all this out. So good luck out there, and you know, try your best, keep plugged in, and you'll get it. And it's a really fun, enjoyable experience. Connecting yourself with an artist is great. Special bond. You suddenly attach yourself to their career. You keep in touch with them. They tell you what's happening next. Sometimes they give you free pieces. There's a lot of value that happens as you build that network, and it's just an amazing experience. So good luck, and yeah, I'll see you guys in another video.